who is coming with John Calipari to Arkansas. So Kentucky right now has 6 kids committed for the class of 2024. Okay, let's go ahead and go through them really quick. By the way, I'll say this. Met Joe Tipton. I've met Joe Tipton before. Had a great conversation with him at the Final Four. Great kid. That's going to be a must follow over these next couple of days. Joe Tipton is a beast, and he's going to be all over this. But anyway, Kentucky has 6 players committed. Let's go through them really quick. Jaden Quaintance, 6'9" center, number 8 player in the country according to 24/7 Sports. Boogie Fland, number 26 player ranked in America, 6'2" guard. Sto Suril, number 46 nationally, 6'10" center. Travis Perry, 73 nationally, point guard from Kentucky. And then 2 commitments that have not signed letters of intent. Carter Knox, the number 20th ranked player in the class from Tampa. Billy Richmond, who is from Camden, New Jersey, whose dad played for Calipari. So let's go through the players that I think are realistically coming to Kentucky and who I think are not, or who are coming to Arkansas and who I think are not. Let's start with Jaden Quaintance. Listen, Jaden Quaintance committed to Kentucky over Missouri, okay? Certainly Missouri's going to try to get involved. Everybody's going to try to get involved. But at the same time, this feels like a guy that will follow Calipari to the University of Arkansas, okay? Because at the end of the day, he committed to Kentucky. He wanted to be with Calipari. And as I just said, the important thing to know about Jaden Quaintance, okay, 6'9" center, number 8 recruit in the country. He's 17 years old. Remember, to be NBA draft eligible, you have to be 19 years old in the year of your NBA draft. So essentially, guys that are in the 2024 draft have to be at least 19 years old this calendar year, okay? So Jaden Quaintance will not be draft eligible until 2026. So he reclassified. He wanted to play at least 1 year of college basketball, reevaluate. You could potentially have this kid for 2 years, Arkansas fans. 6'9". He reminds me a little bit of Boogie Cousins. Athletic, but can he put the ball on the floor a little bit, all that good stuff. But the key with him, he is going to play for 2 years of college basketball. By the way, the professional options that seemed so good a year ago are no longer there. Remember, he could go to the thought was maybe he goes to Kentucky for a year, and then he goes to Overtime Elite, or he goes to the G League Ignite. The G League Ignite is done. It doesn't exist anymore. He's kind of got to stay in college for 2 years. Could he go overseas? Sure, but who the heck wants to go overseas? So I just bring it up because that's a kid who's probably going to play college basketball for 2 years. And I think he is a guy that is going to potentially follow John Calipari to Arkansas. Player Boogie Fland. As I said, number 26 ranked player in America. He is signed to Kentucky, 6'2" guard, 170. I'll say this. The Kentucky staff did an incredible job with this kid. He was down in Kentucky and Indiana, chose Kentucky. But what is interesting about Boogie Fland is this one is interesting. He's from New York. And as I said at some point on this live stream that we're now an hour 25 into, one of the first texts I got was from a recruiting guy in New York who said, Torres, I am here to tell you, Boogie Fland has been made aware that John Calipari is not going to be the Kentucky head coach next year. They told him to ask out of his scholarship. Now the question becomes, can a St. John's get in the mix? Can somebody else get in the mix? I think St. John's would be a real player there, and I think it just depends on what the sell is to Boogie Fland. Come to Arkansas, put the ball in your hands, let's go, be ready, do this, do that, all that good stuff. I think that will be one that Calipari has to battle for a little bit because there's going to be a lot of interest. He's not really from the region. I think he was going to Kentucky to play for Cal. So I do think he would be a kind of a natural fit there. But I also could see, again, a lot of those Northeast schools getting involved. A lot of, remember, UConn's going to need players after this year. So I think that there's a very good chance that a lot of people are going to get involved. I'm not sold on Boogie Fland I'm not sold on Boogie Fland following John Calipari to Arkansas. Let's keep it going. Sto Suril, he's kind of a power forward kind of guy. Listen, I like him. I don't love him. I think he'd be a good 2-3 year college player. And he was really the guy that was recruited for what Kentucky lacked this year. which was size, which was physicality, which was toughness, which was a lot of the things that they needed. Not very skilled, 6'10", has a lot of work to do. My guess is he's probably interested in following John Calipari to the University of Arkansas. Overtime elite kid. Now, I will say there was talk that potentially he was a guy that might not even come with John Calipari. There was, let me put it this way, with Sto Suril, there was talk that it was at least possible that when all the crap hit the fan with Kentucky, and there was talk about, they're going to have to do this, they're going to have to do that, they're going to have to, make all these changes. One of the things was the administration wanted less freshmen, and there was a little buzz that he was going to have to be let out of his scholarship because he wasn't the quick fix player. Sto Suril, I think, will have an open recruitment. I think he's another one that probably ends up at Arkansas. I think you get the two big guys, Jaden Quaintance and Sto Suril. Travis Perry, Kentucky State Player of the Year. Listen, I can confirm this because it came out during his recruitment. Calipari didn't really want him, but they had to offer him because he is the all-time leading scorer in the state of Kentucky, and they kind of offered him and said, do not commit here. We do not want you. And he committed anyway, and he's just like, screw it. I want to play at Kentucky. I believe I can play. I can transfer out if I'm not good. And so I'm pretty comfortable saying he will not be going to Arkansas. And I think it's the opposite. I think he's by far the most likely to stay committed to Kentucky. I'd be stunned if he played anywhere other than Kentucky next year, regardless of who the head coach is. The two commitments that are currently committed but not yet signed. Carter Knox, McDonald's All-American. Arkansas fans, if you need to know about this kid, I did a commitment video when he committed to Kentucky back about 3 weeks ago. He is the brother of Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox played for John Calipari at Kentucky, then went to the NBA, okay? 6'5", wing, super athletic, future NBA player. Is he a one and done? I don't know. I think he's good. I think with the right coaching, the right system, the right style, the right this, the right that, I think there's a possibility that he very much could be a superstar, but he's not guaranteed. But I think he'll be a very good college basketball player next year, especially if he plays in the same system that John Calipari implemented this year at Kentucky. I'll be blunt. I think he is one that goes to, follows John Calipari to Arkansas. If you look at his recruitment, his Final Four was the following. It was Kentucky. It was Arkansas. I'm all over the place. It's Kentucky. It was Louisville. It was Kentucky. It was Louisville. Louisville has since fired its head coach. Kenny Payne was his lead recruiter. Kenny Payne is gone. Okay. So there's that. So Kentucky, Louisville. Louisville's out of the picture. South Florida, because he's from Tampa, and the G League Ignite. G League Ignite is gone. Louisville has a new coaching staff that the school has, or the family has no relationship with at all. I'm sorry. I don't think he's going to Louisville. I don't think he's going to South Florida. He's certainly not going to G League Ignite. And here's the thing. You could sit there and say, well, he's going to reopen his recruitment. He just committed a few weeks ago. If he was interested in other schools and other places, he didn't have to commit when he did. I think he's going to Arkansas. Lastly, and this is an interesting one, Billy Richmond from Camden, New Jersey. But Billy Richmond's father played for John Calipari at the University of Memphis. Why is that important? Well, Billy Richmond's dad owns restaurants in Memphis. Well, listen, Arkansas fans, you know I'm not great with geography, but I know Memphis borders that natural state, baby. And so when I look at this, he's playing in Jersey, but his dad is really based out of Memphis. This is kind of a win-win. You can go play at Arkansas. You can play for Calipari, the person that the family trusts. And oh, by the way, you can do it closer to home. So in my opinion, that is the recruiting class as it stands. Jaden Quaintance, I believe, will be an Arkansas Razorback. Boogie Fland, I do think that one, I think he's going to look at some real options. Sto Suril, I think he'll probably follow Calipari to Arkansas. Travis Perry, I think he's the most likely to stay, not only not at Arkansas. I can say with certainty he is not going to Arkansas, but I could see the scenario where he does stay at Kentucky. And I think Carter Knox and Billy Richmond are very likely going to Kentucky or going to Arkansas.